thank you for staying for so long, especially for my speech. So let's talk about something easier and close to all of us. Let's talk about something we all have something to say about: family. And we should have that say, because guess what? If we make free choices and free decisions in the household and about our family, it actually can deliver the most efficient economic outcomes and greater happiness for yourself and for the nation as a whole. And let me break it down. And before that, let's go down to earth and see where my logic started. A while ago, I noticed that an average Aussie bloke can bench press a lawnmower, but struggles to lift a laundry basket. That's driven my curiosity as an economist, of course. So I started doing numbers crunching, and after a few years of research, I found that as kids arrive, this gets even more brutal. Moms manage about 28 hours of housework per week before their mental health dips, but dads hit the wall at the half of the time. Flip it to paid work and we have a mirror image. Men can handle a full-time job happily with 38 hours, a standard working week, while women are happiest at a part-time job, 28 hours a week. What is it? Misogyny? Please. This is a rational economic behavior. And it's made possible by free choice. We chose to do it this way at home. Here's the kicker. The happiest family arrangements, they actually look traditional. Mom works part-time and looks after children full-time, and dads work full-time and contributes where he can, maybe a bit of barbecue cleaning, which is all right. I'm not going to get into that territory as a female. I don't think I should. Call it old-fashioned if you like. I call it rational economic choice. When couples choose freely, they pick what maximizes their joint well-being. And that's actually what I found in my research. It's the numbers. That's economics 101, specialization, division of labor, compounding experience to build human capital applied to the family. If economics began anywhere, it began at the kitchen table. The family is actually the very first economic unit. That's where economy started, production, investment, risk-sharing decisions. They began at the kitchen table, not in Canberra. So why? Thank you. So why are we auditing the laundry? The modern fetish 50-50 by stopwatch, as if equality means identical chores, not equal dignity. Family don't need a compliance officer inside their home. They need the freedom to specialize and make the best choices for themselves and their children. Just let's flip it to another situation. Let's apply this 50-50 equality logic elsewhere. In a business, on the construction side, imagine a foreman insisting everyone must glue exactly 5 inches of pipe and lay 4 tiles each for fairness, regardless of your actual job. You'd sack him. Yet we import that logic into the home and wonder why stress grows and joy goes away. Just a recent statistic, just on Friday, they found that women are feeling a lot more rushed than before and a lot more rushed than men. We know why. It's also well established that happiness of parents is an important determinant of happiness and health of children. So that's if families are happy with their choices, they will produce happier and healthier offsprings. Now, we are told that traditional gender role patterns are mere social constructs that need to be corrected by the policy. What's Canberra's solution? Again, turn up with a clipboard and a tape measure to ensure mopping is split exactly 50-50. Then they'll stand with a stopwatch for alternating nappy changes. And also, I think there could be the next step to propose who gets the good sponge. And the painful one for you blokes, the 50-50 mandate to clean barbecue. I didn't say that. I didn't propose that. But if we don't do anything about it, that could be your future. Feminist apparatchiks insist that traditional gender roles oppress women, regardless of what they say. And meanwhile, we cheer record labor force participation growth. That's all in an intergenerational report. And guess what about it? At the same time as we had a record high labor force participation, that's driven by women joining the labor force, we had falling fertility rates that are already well below the replacement rate. It's at 1.5 children per woman. And the number that needed to sustain the same population is 2.1. And that's not what women want. Again, just this week, the data show that desired fertility is just over 2 children by women. Now to another piece of reporting, the gender wage gap report. Gender wage gap report last year found that there is a 21%, that's a difference in pay between men and women. So women are paid 21% less. Terrible, is it? What they forgot to mention, that as a man, you're a lot more likely to die at work. To be exact, 93% of workplace fatalities are men. So I just feel it's a good deal now to be a woman. Then Tony Burke praised himself and the Labour Party for falling gender wage gap, and they continued attacking the Liberal Party and right-wing activists for misogyny. As you remember, and I mentioned that in my Daily Telegraph article during the Dutton's election campaign, they literally stopped short of blaming Dutton for blinking misogynistically. But on the other point, they also mentioned that what right and Liberal Party wants is women work more for less. Isn't not subsidizing childcare, informal childcare, at-home childcare, isn't it that what drives women working more for less? Let's be clear, let's be honest. You cannot just stop looking after children, even if you're working. And again, back to the equal pay and gender pay gap. We've had equal pay legislation since Whitlam era, so not sure what exactly that report measured. And at the time, Senator Matt Canavan called it utterly superfluous. I agree about it, but to extent. It did measure something. It measured the freedom of choice how to work, how flexible to work, and what occupation to choose, the choice between men and women. That report that measured the gender wage gap, it never asked whether a woman chose to work in a childcare center over a coal mine, right? And it's never asked if a woman did not apply for promotion to afford the stress of extra responsibility. And it's common sense that on average, women would choose roles with lower physical risk, with more flexibility and more family-friendly schedules. And that's a traditional allocation of time, what makes having children an economically viable option. especially now in a day and age where single income household becomes an artifact of the past. And continuing on gender wage gap, Qantas notoriously made a scapegoat for exuberant wage gap, 38% at the time, because obviously pilots are being paid more as a cabin crew, and pilots are more likely to be men than your average flight attendant. But they pictured it as an example of discrimination. And I did speak to a young, vibrant girl who works as a Qantas flight attendant. She loves her job. She dreamt about this job. And I did ask you, why not a pilot? They paid more. And she said, no, I don't want to be a pilot, even if I'm provided a free training. I love my job. I enjoy it. And I also want to have a family. And the pilot job with its long shifts does not allow me to fulfill my dreams. So here we have, there was no discrimination happening in that case. That was her pure free choice, her preferences. She is happy. Passengers on Qantas are happy. Her future children will be happy. And we, as a country, will get more taxpayers and more people. So... But guess what? That's seemingly the situation that doesn't require any government intervention is a statistical crisis on a spreadsheet in some government authority. That shouldn't be happening. The bottom line is that traditional gender roles, chosen, not coerced, and I do not believe that most women still are forced to choose between going to fulfill their dreams or their careers. Those traditional gender roles are economically rational behavior. And we should not swap the choices. We should depart from the time where women didn't have choice to work to the time when women don't have a choice to have a family or a big family. And to wrap up, again, economist in me, traditional gender roles, family is a driver of efficiency and economic freedom. And we should not be constrained in our own home about what we're deciding. And moreover, we should be trusted to clean the barbecue and decide about it. Thank you so much for your time, and great for staying for so long.